We're on.
I'd like to call the February 16th meeting of the Newmarket Town Council to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I would accept a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session.
I'll move that we seal the minutes to non-public session.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Brayback?
Aye.
Councilor Craper?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Next, we have public forum, and is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? If you could just state your name.
Of course.
And address.
My name, for the record, I don't even think this is on, but is
Yes.
Ellen Reed. I live at 283 Leda Lane. I am coming before you as a member of the Environment and Energy Committee. I do have to, for full disclosure, apologize for my get-up. I'm also a state representative for Newmarket, and I just got back from session. I haven't been able to go home yet. I am coming before you right now because, as you are probably aware, the Environment and Energy Committee some months ago made the recommendation, had put out a request for proposal for a Solarize campaign. Revision, the company Revision, gave an excellent proposal, and I thought it was the most professional, most thorough proposal that we had heard, and I very much supported them. And then they finally got the agreement, which I was glad to hear. However, for I think a little over a month now, I've been contacted by members from Revision about the campaign, and it seems that they've been running into some, I guess, non-response from the town, and haven't been able to get the okays to do the job that they were asked to do by the town. So some of the things that they would like to do, that I would like to see the town okay them, and it's going to sound like pretty small, easy things. They would like to hang a banner that they have to advertise the Solarize campaign. They need the town's permission to do that on Main Street. I had recommended to them that if the town was able to allow them to use or put up on the LED sign that we sometimes have to advertise, sometimes we do it for elections, winter parking ban, if we could allow them some time on that sign to advertise for the Solarize campaign. They also had the idea, which I thought was fantastic, to use repurposed signs that they already have in their possession and work with the, I think it's the Net Zero Club at the school, who will then help them make handmade signs to advertise for the Solarize campaign. So it's both repurposing used material as well as advertising for people getting solar energy. I am aware that Ms. Chase did recently help them get the information on the town website. However, it is not in any of the social media. It has not been in the newsletter that I'm aware of. And there are several educational webinars that they have been putting on and are planning on putting on that they would like advertising from the town for. So those are just some of the real easy asks that the town could help them with. From what I understand, they've exhausted every avenue they knew how to get a response from the town to do the job that we asked them to do. And so that's why, having no other recourse, I've decided to come before you and ask if you all could please help them get some answers to some of these really easy things that we did ask them to do. And then I will just wrap up by saying, if it is acceptable to the council, I would suggest that you hear from one of the representatives from Revision who has entered into agreement with the town. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I know the council rules state that it's not a back and forth between, and it's not time for staff to comment on comments by visitors. But when there were accusations about we didn't respond, I want to just make sure that I can make sure the staff we can defend the staff. I just searched all my emails and used Revision Energy. My office
as town manager, who runs the day-to-day operations of the town, and also enacts any policy set by this board, I can tell you I have emails from Revision Energy, but it was my negotiations on a solar farm in the community. We received last week, as the committee member mentioned, communications to put this on the website. We did. Any of the other information, my office has not received it, and that's where the clearinghouse is. The buck stops here.
I would like to clarify that my comments were not meant as an accusation.
Oh, no,
so,
and I just want to make sure that if the information is correct.
What I am concerned with is making sure that the company we've entered into an agreement with has the tools to do the things that we've asked them to do. So I don't, whether there was some avenue that the company was unaware of that they should have pursued, or there was some sort of non-response or a miscommunication is really immaterial to me. I just want you all to please get the ball rolling so we can help them do the thing that we asked them to do.
Thank you. The only other comment that I would make is that the Energy and Environment Committee met the beginning of this month. That was the first Tuesday. And it was the first time we had met in quite a long time because we haven't had a quorum, because members haven't been able to participate. And there was a person who is volunteering with Revision Energy present at that meeting and did not voice any of these concerns to the committee. So I would just want to put that out there. That is the first that, I represent the town council on that committee, and so this is the first that I'm hearing that there is any issue with the town's participation in the Solarize program. Other than, and I again will say that the committee has had to cancel, I believe, 3 meetings in a row because we didn't have a quorum. That said,
It's easy for them. Just contact my office, Ms. Chase, and we'll give you all the permits you need to try to put up signs and go through the right avenues.
is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak this evening?
Was that it? She's allowed. Am I allowed to say anything?
If you're a resident, you are. Seeing none, I will close public forum at 7:15. The next is for the next item on our agenda is for the town council to consider the acceptance of minutes, and we have one meeting to approve the minutes, and that is from February 2nd, and I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes for February 2nd.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments or changes to the minutes? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Brayback?
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Connolly?
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. So the next we have the town manager's report.
It is, and I'm going to turn it over to the chair for a presentation.
I'm honored again to be recognizing one of our staff here in the town. We are so fortunate to have such a dedicated staff here in Newmarket. We have been a little unfortunate to see some recent retirements. So tonight we are here to talk about, or I have a proclamation to read for Diane Hardy. So this is the Newmarket, the Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire Town Council proclamation for Diane Flint Hardy. Whereas Diane Flint Hardy has decided to retire after 15 and a half years of service as the Director of Planning and Community Development for the Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire. And whereas Diane Flint Hardy accepted the position of Director of Planning and Community Development in 2006 with over 30 years of experience working in both public and private sectors, including several area municipalities, as well as the Office of Sponsored Research at UNH. the New Hampshire Office of State Planning, and the Department of Resources and Economic Development. And whereas during her tenure with the town of Newmarket, Diane Flint Hardy was instrumental in the McAllen Dam Rehabilitation Project, which spanned over a decade, resulting in the repair rather than the removal of the dam. And whereas Diane Flint Hardy played an integral role over the preparation and adoption of various Newmarket master plan chapters, and was involved in a variety of planning activities in the downtown and riverfront areas, as well as the Gateway Initiative, several major housing developments, Newmarket Industrial Park, the New Road infrastructure improvements, and the Moonlight Brook and Lubberland Creek coastal resiliency projects. And whereas Diane Flint Hardy received an award and recognition from the Allegheny County Board of Commissioners for the Rankin Borough Comprehensive Plan in 1990, and the 2018 Climate Adaptation Community Champion Award from the Coastal Adaptation Work Group for integrating climate resilience and adaptation into the town's planning programs. And whereas Diane Flint Hardy oversaw the administration and management of several grant projects and assisted the Linked Together after-school children's program with grant writing for Vest Pocket Park improvements and Arbor Day tree planting events. And whereas Diane Flint Hardy, as a member of the Appalachian Mountain 4,000-footer club, hiked to the summits of all 48 peaks in the White Mountains of New Hampshire and the summit to Mount Katahdin along Knife's Edge in Maine's Baxter State Park. And whereas Diane Flint Hardy will now be able to travel freely and enjoy time with her husband Mark and daughter Ashley, with whom she attests it's her greatest accomplishment in life. Now therefore let it be resolved that the Town Council does hereby commend Diane Flint Hardy in recognition of her hard work, dedication, and service to the town of Newmarket. Diane Flint Hardy has climbed the mountain both literally and figuratively, and now can sit back and enjoy the view. Given the 16th day of February in the year of our Lord, 2022.
While she signs that, I would like to just make a comment. Diane, it's been a pleasure working with you. I know I've thrown many, many random projects at you over the years, but you've always accepted it and helped move this town forward. It's not always been easy, but we've always done what's best for the community, and you've always had the first in mind. We've done it, and I thank you for everything. And you'll be missed.
And please.
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me here this evening. I'm pleased to be able to introduce to you my dear daughter, Ashley, who's joining me for support this evening. I appreciate her coming forward. You probably have all heard a lot about her, but haven't actually met her before. As some of you know, I'm not a real inspirational speaker, and I've been told by some people that I'm a little bit long-winded. And I will promise to keep this short. And I have a little secret to share with you. If you see Steve Fortier scratching his neck and doing this,
I will not do it.
It means my time is up. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your thank you, Steve, for your kind comments, and thank you, Tony, for your kind comments as well. It has been a pleasure and a privilege and honor to serve as Newmarket's town planner for the last 15 years. As I close this chapter, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the many wonderful people on the town council, planning board, zoning board, friends, colleagues, and acquaintances that I've made here over the years. In that time frame, we've seen many positive and exciting transformations. I'm sure you have all heard the glowing comments from those from the outside looking in. Gee, Newmarket looks great. The town has really turned itself around. To those of here who've made it possible, I thank you for your support. While I take a little bit of credit for part of this process, I'm talking to all of those folks in town who have contributed to the planning process and the overall success over the course of many years. I see here this evening several members of the Newmarket Community Development Corporation who were instrumental in getting the project started way back. And if I can share a story, there was a group in 1977 called the Newmarket Service Group, and Mr. Provo was a member of that group and helped to get the process started. And I often speak to groups that I mentioned that Mike, who was a Main Street manager in his career, was very helpful in getting that whole process started here in Newmarket. Having lived in the Seacoast since 1977, it's amazing to me to compare what the town is today and what it was decades ago when the prospect of downtown revitalization was just an idea spawned by a handful of concerned and proactive citizens such as yourselves sitting around a table and starting a dialogue with one another. From that, they developed a clear vision for the future and put those ideas into action. In Newmarket, we have proven that downtown revitalization process does work. It's not something, however, that happens per chance or overnight or by magic, or a self-administering master plan, which we wish we had. But we all know it happens through a lot of hard work, community spirit, determination, collaboration with many, and the contributions of those who have a lot of time, energy, and commitment and have the best interests of the town at heart. One of the things that I've come to understand and embrace is that here in Newmarket, we have a very engaged citizenry. We have many interest groups with diverse interests, often conflicting opinions. While reaching consensus on issues can be difficult and frustrating at times and happen at a very slow pace, I believe that this is a sign of a healthy, vibrant community, and that despite our differences, we collectively strive for the same thing. You've heard the words, transparency, democracy, and what we believe is in the best interest of the town. We try very hard to make sure that every voice is heard. Along the way, we've made a few mistakes, and we've had to compromise to reach a reasonable solution. But we moved on in the name of progress and prosperity, and the results are very apparent today. I foremost applaud the town council, the town administration, the planning board, the zoning board, the community development corporation, and other community leaders here in Newmarket who have had the vision, courage, trust, and faith to be able to move forward with new initiatives and make investments in the town's future. I've worked for a lot of communities here in New Hampshire, and by and far, Newmarket has been the best in my longest tenure, I might add, of 15 years. From the town manager to the department heads, co-workers at town hall, everyone in this town serves the public with the utmost professionalism, pride, and integrity. I found the town employees, as you have indicated, Madam Chair, to be very dedicated, hardworking, looking out for one another, and willing to go above and beyond the call of duty and working as a team to get the job done, which, quite frankly, is refreshing. That doesn't always occur in every community here in the state, I'm afraid to say. The town is very fortunate to have longtime employees who have been with the town for a long time, who provided stability, consistency, and who are willing to share their vast institutional knowledge of the town with others. In our planning department, for instance, our Sue Jordan, our very capable administrative assistant, is the longest serving employee. She has been with the town for over 33 years. She, has proven time and time again that she's a tremendous asset to the town. I will greatly miss her friendship and camaraderie that developed over the course of many years, working side by side with her and with others at the town hall, including, we have some other town employees here, Donna. We have Wendy and Andrea. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry, Bill and Chief Jordan. Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad I got to say a good word about the great employees that work here. In that, excuse me, I lost my, forgive me. Okay, here we go. Lastly, and certainly not least, I'm most grateful to my loving family who have supported me throughout my career and never once complained about my being late. or being preoccupied with my work, or angry when I'd say, oh, I can't, I have a meeting tonight. And I'm sure those of you who are on the council can relate to that from time to time. As I stated in my parting words, it's important that every once in a while we stand back, catch our breath, and admire the views from different perspectives, that we assess where we're going and checking our trails map to make sure we're heading in the right direction, and that we continue tirelessly on our journey, staying focused and always keeping our goals in mind. I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. I wish you all the very best in your planning endeavors in the days ahead. Thank you.
You've heard a lot about you, Ashley.
Tony is, I understand, has accomplished all 48 4,000 footers in the Appalachian Trail, and my daughter Ashley is working on hers
Nice.
during this time. So,
Now
and
that
I've
you're-
shared your pictures with her.
Yeah, nice.
We'll have to get together for a hike.
Okay. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Okay.
So back to the town manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, not on my written report, but we need to have an action of the town council this evening on the town warrant. The recommendation of the budget committee was not the same as the recommendation from the town council. So right now, the town council is not recommending the same number as the municipal budget committee. After reviewing the budget, I mean, $50,000 we could put in. I'd probably recommend to the Director of Finance Administration that we create a line that says lease payment and start funding that line with the additional $50,000 unless we need it somewhere else. And not withdraw from the capital reserve fund this year, so it's a wash. So it would be my recommendation that the council make a motion to recommend the municipal budget committee's budget. As you know, there was no discussion on the budget. There was no moves to change it. There was no debate. So I think the public has spoken as well that it's fine. So a motion would be in order. I usually have resolutions, but in this situation, we just need a motion to recommend the municipal budget committee's budget.
I would accept a motion to recommend the municipal budget committee's budget.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any comments, any questions about that, about the process? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Brayback?
Aye.
Councilor Kuiper?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Just a COVID-19 and vaccination update. As of February 9th, there are 13 active cases in the community. As of today, I think it was 19. This is a decrease of 84% from my previous report. We've had 1,576 cases in the community, or 16.6% of the population, which has increased to 73 cases since the last report. We're seeing the end of the surge. I mean, there's no other ways to put it. Hospitalizations are down statewide. You're hearing the reports everywhere, and you're seeing the states, not even just New Hampshire, but around the country, dropping the mask mandates that are out there, that were currently out there. As I said, our health region and Rockingham County have both seen substantial levels, still in substantial level of community transmission. Seacoast Health Region has seen an 11% increase in new cases over the week. This is down 4.2% from the previous report as well. As you know, with the dramatic drop in cases in the community, I've lifted the previous mask order for municipal buildings. People may wear masks if they wish, but are not required to do so any longer. As for vaccinations, we did have a slight increase in the percentage vaccinated, but it was probably about 1%, so we're not seeing the huge tick up in the vaccinations. And then for the fiscal year 22 budget, at the end of January, we're on target with our expenditures. We are 58%. We have expended 58.3% of the fiscal year. We're 58.3% through the fiscal year and expended 59% of our operating budget. one area of concern is road salt. As you know, when we were budgeting for fiscal year 23, we are seeing an increase of 44% in salt costs. This is mainly due to trying to get the salt in to the ports. They're out on boats, so we're having that situation. Currently, we are 28% over, or $25,000 over our salt budget. People think that when we don't have the blizzards, that it helps our snow budget. It actually hurts us more, because plowing snow is a lot easier than going out every night that it gets below freezing and have to salt and treat the roads. So nobody wants to say it, but sometimes we want to see snow more than we want to see salt and rain and wet roads. As for revenues, we're doing okay. We're still below where we should be for motor vehicle registrations. Simple reasons: there's no chips to buy new vehicles. We're seeing the trickle-down effect of all the national issues that we're having. But as we've discussed, the governor did provide more room and meals tax to the town, so that is offsetting that. And I attached a copy to the report. I will be conducting interviews next week for the Director of Planning and Community Development position. And that is all I have tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for the town manager, either on his report or the department reports? The thing.
Oh, raise your hands.
Sorry. Yeah. If anyone has a question or comment, just raise your hand, please, because my iPad died.
So,
Councilor Blackstone.
in the police report, we read about a accident which totaled a vehicle. And I'm very concerned about that, because the hybrid that we just got, we ordered like 2 years ago. And so I was just wondering, was there something weird about that, or is it 2 years before we get a replacement for this?
No, we're seeing the increase in production of vehicles everywhere. I mean, this is not a police issue. This is you can't go to a dealership right now and buy a vehicle in general. So it's not a police vehicle per se. As soon as we get one in, we'll purchase it and replace it. We have enough vehicles right now to get by until that point in time.
Are we going to get a second hybrid?
And traditionally, we don't ask department heads questions during this, but yeah, we'll
okay.
have the chiefs here.
So I'm probably going to be coming to you folks in the next couple of weeks. One, with the idea of purchasing a car right away to replace the one that was damaged. Cars are hard to come by, but we found a place down in Massachusetts that has 300 of the model we use, but it's a gas model. They can't get any hybrids right now. The hybrids are backed up, and they told me that likely it would be the fall before they could get us a hybrid. Keeping that in mind, so I need to replace the car that is damaged, and we would be replacing a car this year. We wanted to also come before the board and talk about making the order for the hybrid, so we can order it now to have it for the fall, or while we're hoping. They told us this fall, and maybe as early as like June. They did tell us they're starting to catch back up, but there aren't a lot of cars out there that I can go and get right now. But this dealership in Massachusetts, they deal with nothing but police cars, and they happen to have some that I could get right away, which I could use to replace that one that was damaged.
Thank you.
And just follow that, do we have insurance, or are we self-insured?
We have insurance.
Right, so that car would be covered, I assume, at
Yeah,
least some
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, we're in a risk management pool that if we have an
I
issue,
didn't know
we cover
if
it.
towns probably get big enough, they just self-insure. Right?
No, because of the fact that, there's no municipalities in New Hampshire that are big enough
Oh, okay.
to self-insure, just because of the fact that some of the insurance things that we have to deal with are literally
Can
life
be
or death,
substantial, yeah.
right? So,
Were there any other questions or comments on the department reports?
Well, I would like to just call out the community policing that we see in the report. I think that's why we live in Newmarket. I think that, you know, if people can come in and fix a broken fuse or something, I think that's a terrific thing.
Yeah, and that was one of the items that I wanted to make sure that I commented on. That aspect of the report I really have enjoyed since you have started that. But in particular, there were two incidents that you highlighted. One was, you know, officers received a call requesting a welfare check on an elderly subject, and so they were able to go and help that person with a power outage, basically. The other incident was officers had received a report from the postmaster in regards to a welfare check, and as we I think all know at this point that that Kayla, who is a mail carrier here in town, saw something out of the norm and contacted the police department, and the police department checked on this individual, and that person had, you know, fallen and had potentially been there for days, or probably, I guess, had been there for days. So she went above and beyond, and as a postal employee, and then obviously our police knew how to get into the building. I mean, that just goes, it highlights the relationships that our police have in our community. So
we will see what we can do to honor her.
We should.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I definitely wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. As well as the help that the police provided to a young family who, and that was the third item that you had referenced in your report, a young family who needed support, and you got them the support, and they filed an application with Seacoast Family Promise and have been accepted into the program. So again, that's a testament to the relationships that the police department has with individuals here in the town, as well as with other agencies, which is so important. And then the other thing I wanted to comment on was the fire department. We're getting a fire truck soon.
We are.
Speaking of new vehicles, which is very exciting. And then I also wanted to make sure that I commented on Bill Page's, I guess not retirement. I was going to say retirement, but that's not. He's moving on.
Yep.
It's a little young to be retiring, but and so congratulations to him. And that was all I had. So, seeing no other comments, we can move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Thank you. Councilor Brayback.
I was about to push the button. Conservation Commission met last week. There was a request that I check on the Nail Mill Class 6 road status.
I'm talking with the attorneys.
Okay, that is what I told them.
The answer was what?
I'm talking to the attorneys.
You're still talking.
Still in process. And then I think I mentioned this last time they met as well, but just that they're starting to explore options for treating herbicide options for treating invasives at Wigan Farm. It looks like it's going to take a few tries to get everything taken care of. It's going to come out of their own budget. They're looking at low impact options, but just something that folks might want to be aware of. There's kind of a variety of different invasive species, so it might take a variety of approaches, unfortunately. Different flowering points throughout the year, etc. And there will likely be a work day in early May related to that. So if there's anyone looking to get their hands dirty, keep an eye out.
Literally.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Councilor Blackstone.
So the planning board met, and there's a company called Seacoast Pool Plastering that wants to build a facility up on Wildly Falls Road near that like irrigation company or whatever they're doing there. And they originally had come to us with a very elaborate proposal. And after going through the various problems with it, they've come back now with a much more scaled down and doable proposal. And that was approved. And then on February 22nd, we're having a workshop on stormwater management. Stormwater management regulations have changed statewide, and we need to adjust our regulations to be compliant with the state system.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Seeing none, we will move on. We have one resolution to discuss tonight. I'm just pulling it up. And that is Resolution 2021-2022-23, and it's creating an advisory committee on racial equity, inclusion, and human rights. And I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
And is there any presentation or discussion?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. This has been a similar committee that's been in a number of New England communities. It's based on one that was in Bangor, Maine. It's been really quite successful. I think a few things that, just to highlight, that this is not a judiciary committee. It's not a place for to have complaints brought up. It's a way for us to review what our policies and our actions in the community that we're already taking, if there's something else we should be doing. That's why the cross-section of members include myself, our designee, the chief of police are their designee, and the superintendent of schools are designee, just so we can also help with the policy making. That's, you know, when I attended a town managers conference in December with the Maine managers as well, and that was the one thing they wanted to make sure people understood, that this is, it's not the, if you have a complaint that you need to have enacted on, there are avenues to go to, such as in Concord or the to have those investigated. This is just to make sure that we're doing everything we can to promote and encourage a diverse community in the workforce and the community as a whole.
So this is a result of that training?
Yeah, it was.
Presentation? Fantastic. Councilor Brayback.
I see it says that the members will be appointed by us. Is that the same process that is for the other committees?
Exactly.
We'll just fill out an application
Yep.
and we approve it.
So as soon as if this is approved, we'll advertise the openings, and they can. The first time we'll have to stagger their terms, so
Sure.
there's always somebody there. But we will then appoint them that way.
Councilor Ward.
So, it says 7 members. Does that include the 4 non-voting members?
I'm just trying to find I had the numbers in there.
It looks like no. It says 7 shall be
Right.
appointed. There shall also be 4.
Okay.
Right.
I just wanted to comment. I think it's fantastic that a student is being included in that. I think that's really important. And I guess a question, actually, the superintendent of schools or designee, is that, is the superintendent on board? Like, have you had?
I did let the superintendent
Because
know.
do they know?
We want to keep this in there either which way. It's their choice.
Right, okay.
So.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Brayback?
Sorry, I do have another question. So, item 4 says that preference may be given to appointing members who are residents of the town of Newmarket. Does that mean that folks who are not residents of the town can apply to be on the
That's
committee?
correct. Usually you get down to if there's nobody, or if there's an individual who may have certain skills that you would want to have involved. Could be a small business owner in the community that doesn't live in town, but could help out, and if they see something, you can include them.
Councilor Ward?
I just want to say that I think this is a great idea. It's nice to see that there's, there's more effort being put on to, racial equity and how people of color, you know, fit into the communities around here and how the laws impact them. So yeah, not much else to say, but I think this is a great thing that we're doing.
I would only like to add to Councilor Braybeck's question that, I mean, there are a couple of people who I could think of off the top of my head who would fill that role, who may not live. I mean, I think about Pastor Patty, who, I mean, I don't know that she would want to be, I don't know that she has the time to kind of serve on another committee, but she would be an ideal person. There may be a police officer who doesn't live in town who might be like the right fit for the committee. So I'm glad that it says that that the residents will be given preference. I think that that's important. But there are so many people who contribute to a vibrant and equitable community.
And I do want to highlight that this is a very rare committee that has term limits, that you only can serve 2 terms, and the reasoning is you want different opinions and different input on this. So that, because that was one of the big things that came out from the discussions from other communities, that it turned into, some of them, I can't remember what community name, but it turned into almost like a little fiefdom, and it wasn't actually addressing the issues, but having a different political debate, which it shouldn't. It should be focusing on the issues, and they determined that the best way to do that is have term limits on the members, so you always get a fresh set of eyes after a few years.
That's great. I'm not seeing any other comments, so if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Braybeck?
Aye.
Councilor Piper?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Another step forward for our little town. Not so little town. We have 2 resolutions tonight in the first reading. And the first is Resolution 2021-2022-24, and it's the Tucker Well Construction Project Award. Whereas the town is developing the Tucker Well to increase its water supply, and whereas Hampstead Area Water Services Company submitted the lowest bid of $1,969,674, and whereas the Tucker Well project will be funded out of the rural development monies for water projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Town Council authorizes the town manager to award the Tucker Well project to Hampstead Area Water Services Company for $1,969,674 with $195,000 for contingencies. First reading February 16th, 2022. And the second item is Resolution 2021-2022-25. It's the Tucker Well Dredge and Fill Permit. Whereas the town is developing the Tucker Well to increase its water supply, and whereas the town has been approved for a dredge and fill permit to install access to the Tucker wellhead, and whereas the town is required to make a one-time payment into the Aquatic Resource Fund of $16,678.15. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the town authorizes $7,594.75 from the water impact fees and $9,083.40 from the water capital reserve funds for the one-time payment of $16,678.15 to the Aquatic Resource Fund. First reading February 16th, 2022. Is there any correspondence to the Town Council?
There's none.
Any closing comments? Councilor Kuiper.
I just wanted to, I guess, make the council aware of, as we all know, rent is going up around the country because there's a housing shortage. But I talked to a couple people in the last week, and I thought the numbers really struck out to me. One guy's duplex got bought about a couple months ago, and his rent went from $1,200 to $1,750. And this apartment that is across the street from me that I lived in 2016, that was a 2-bedroom. I paid $950, and it hadn't been updated. It was pretty old, but it was, you know, fine. And the kid moved in. I said, "What are you guys paying?" And he's paying $1650. So, I mean, a lot of us, and I think people that are in rentals, generally they're not getting those size increases. It's, you know, the new owners and stuff. You know, I mean, I am blessed to own my building, so luckily my rent's not going up. But, you know, it's one of these things that happened so quickly that, you know, the gears of planning and zoning sort of cannot keep up with that. But it's something that I just think we should be aware of, that, you know, this guy actually whose rent went up to $1750, he told me, he said to the woman who bought his building, he said, "Why are you putting the rent up?" And she said, "That's what they told me I could get." You know, and she was not from around here. She just, you know, found a building and bought it. And I'm sure the building has gone up in value, you know, in the last couple of years, but I don't think it's gone up that much. And he actually ended up buying, he moved to Farmington, he told me the other day, bought a house in Farmington. So it's just one of those things that I think we should be aware of, and that, you know, obviously we have asked the planning board about the non-attached accessory dwelling unit ordinance change, and, you know, they're working on some other stuff, you know, rezoning North Main Street. And I just hope that these things help. And I mean, it's kind of funny because the construction that's happening at the top of Durrell, you know, is really the only major construction that was initiated in, I think, 1980 something. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people in the community push back on that, but I think people need to realize, like, we need more housing. It's really the only antidote for high rent. It's the only antidote for bad landlords, is more landlords that can, you know, lower the price and make the demand higher. So I just I really feel for people that are renting right now, and I'm glad that I bought my house when I did, frankly.
Councilor Ward.
I just want to bounce off that. Like, I moved to Newmarket, and I've been a renter, and I've been lucky to have a nice landlord and roommates and such. But I've definitely noticed in the 5 or 6 years that I've been here, there are fewer people moving in who are, you know, with the age when I came in, like 25 or earlier. It's become harder and harder for that kind of, you know, new generation of people to come in and settle. And I mean, we're not like New York where, you know, everyone wants to come there and everyone's coming in there. We need that kind of pipeline of, you know, young professionals starting out to keep the town, you know, alive and vibrant, I think. So expanding rent and, you know, protecting our renters is a good way to make sure the town, you know, remains viable, and to avoid the whole silver wave issue where the state, everyone else in the state is really experiencing. So.
Well, at the direction of the city council, the planning board is actively looking at alternative dwelling units, right? And we have a committee working on that right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, thank you.
I have so Steve, I had talked to you a while ago about these signs. There's several signs in town where the letters have worn off the sign.
About, yeah, to remove old.
Like
yes.
The elementary school sign, the park and rec sign.
Yep, we're going to be, Parks and Rec Department is getting new signage. Woo. Working with, hopefully the school to get something new. But yes, we're going to work on it.
Yeah, we don't want anything fancy to be exactly the same. It's just, it shouldn't be.
I mean, ultimately, we'd rather have we do want to have fancy sign package for wayfinding signs. But right now, we'll replace them.
And I wanted to ask just a question. I used to live in this town in Massachusetts called Needham, and the Park and Rec there had like an advisory board or whatever. And the advisory board got a grant and bought playground equipment, bought the stuff, right? And then they shipped it there, and then the people of Newmarket put it all together. There was no contracting or anything. Of course, the equipment was from a certified supplier, right? And we did it to their specification. But it was like 100 people turned out. It was a big thing, right? I keep reading about how Amy wants to fix the skateboard park, and every time I'm over there, there's always kids doing this. Is there a possibility that somebody could just do a design and then we could just get a bunch of people to come over and fix it?
Sadly, in today's litigious, no.
Yeah.
I could not recommend that, especially on a skateboard park.
Takes one person like to accidentally use a power drill wrong, and
Well, I was just thinking if you had a engineer to design it or something, you could do it.
The upgrades that I understand that Amy had recommended were upgrades that would be designed to bring actually older people to the park to
Right.
to mitigate some of the shenanigans that can happen if there's
Well,
there's
but
no older people
supervised
around.
The people who'd be building it are the
And
older people.
to do that would require the installation of a cement park. So
Okay.
from what I remember calling her,
It's more than just a couple.
it's
people.
more than just a couple boards. It's actually digging in sort of pouring this big thing, which is a little bit beyond.
It's a
I think,
reconstruction.
What
Yeah,
could,
okay.
what could be done by even a well-meaning person. Like,
I mean, we could take a stab at it.
No, I would not recommend it.
Well, anyway,
I have a
it
bucket.
works so well in Needham, I thought, gee, might work here.
That makes me think of it was Planet Playground in Exeter, which I think that's how it was constructed, and now it's being replaced, or has been replaced. My kids don't go to playgrounds anymore. I know.
Has it
Days
been
are over.
replaced?
I know
It
that
is.
has it been done? Or-
There's a proposal. I
yeah.
think,
The only other comment that, are there any other comments I should ask first? I just wanted to kind of mention something that Councillor Conley said, no, I'm sorry, it was Councillor Blackstone, no, it was Councillor Baybeck. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. About the Neal Mill Road project. And so I know that that's something that we've talked about now for, I don't know how long it's been. And that and the potential solar farm, like we're talking about, like, it's with the lawyers. And I wonder if they are at capacity, like why
I'll talk with John.
It's an incredible amount of time now, and I just wonder why things
Solar
are taking
now.
so long.
Solar's negotiations.
Okay.
I'll find out what's going on.
Okay.
I think a lot of it too is they're just getting back in their offices. So.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And then we have our next meeting. I'm not seeing any other requests to speak, so our next meeting is March 2nd. And seeing no other comments, I will consider us adjourned. Thank you.